Two world wars. Some of us around the world can still remember World War II, which was the biggest and most expensive war in human history. 70 years later, the effects of this huge conflict can still be seen, especially in Europe, where a lot of people had to move because of it. In the modern world, it can be hard to tell who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. The Second World War doesn't leave much room for doubt. A crazy person who was going to take over the world had to be stopped by a morally responsible world stage. Germany was stopped, which is a good thing. But today on So Know You Now, we asked what would have happened if Hitler had won World War II. This has to be one of the biggest what-ifs in history. If Germany hadn't invaded the Soviet Union and then declared war on the United States, we might be living in a world where the Nazis were the winners. The people of the Soviet Union paid the most for the victory of the Allies. And if they hadn't been stubborn and fought back, we might be speaking German, and eating bratwurst right now. But for this to have happened, we need to take into account a number of factors and come up with a plan that gives Hitler and Germany a good chance of winning the war. For Hitler to have declared victory, he would have had to gain a lot more land than he did. It is very unlikely that either Great Britain or the United States will give up their land. Still, it's possible that a ceasefire would have happened and Germany would have taken control of the Allied country for a short time. Some people say that Hitler was afraid that the United States would join the Allied forces. With as many resources as they had and as far away as they were, it would have been hard for them to take land across the oceans. Instead, the US would have had to agree to stay out of the war and let Germany do whatever it wanted with Europe. It would have made economic sense for the US to keep making deals with Germany-led Europe instead of with each country separately. Germany would have kept France and Poland on the same page, and Italy would have stayed a German ally. Spain and Portugal would join forces with Germany, while Switzerland would stay on the sidelines. Germany would have had to give up their plans to take over the Soviet Union if they wanted to win the Second World War. But Stalin wasn't going to stay quiet, so the Soviets and Germany would have had to work out some kind of peace deal. If Hitler won, the war would be over. Also, Germany would have had to give up on its plans to take Japan, and since the East was so far away, there wasn't much reason to go after it. Once they have taken over most of Europe. In short, a lot of the bigger players on the world stage would have had to have a reason to let Germany keep going with its plans. This wouldn't be morally right, since the Nazis were trying to kill off whole groups of people, like Jews and other people they thought were bad, like gay people, mentally ill Romani, etc. So, if the Germans had won World War II and been allowed to do ethnic cleansing, we would now live in a world where these people had been killed in the Greater German Reich. In 1962, Philip K. Dick, an American science fiction writer, wrote one of the first alternate history books. In his book, Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan have won World War II, and the world is divided into blocks. All of Greater East Asia is part of Japan's empire, and the United States is split between the puppet states of Japan, the Pacific states of America, and the puppet states of the Nazis, the Rocky Mountain states. In this case, Canada doesn't get taken over by the Nazis, even though it was part of the British Empire and the USA was at war with the Nazis from the start. If Nazi Germany had been able to make nuclear weapons by 1945, they would have been desperate to make their own. Nazism could have been overthrown from the inside by the people who believed in it. But we will never know how the world would have turned out if that happened. Because there are just too many things to take into account. It's probably safe to say that the victory wouldn't last long, since the Allies decided again that the best thing to do would have been to get rid of Hitler for good. So, what do you think would have happened if Hitler and Germany had won the Second World War? Tell us in the comments below. Also, be sure to watch our other video, The top 10 dumbest reasons people got arrested and thrown in jail. Thanks for coming to watch. Also, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.